Ho, 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 it's Christmas Eve, and as I sort of promised 2 nights ago when I was out, um, I'm going to do a tour of the Christmas lights in the neighborhood. We saw some of them the other night, but not all of them. Well, we won't see all of them now. We'll see whichever ones I happen to go by. But yeah, it's still beautiful. It's still hovering around freezing every day, but a little bit of snow along here. Merry Christmas. Ken? Sorry, my eyes. And let's see, that's Winnipeg, isn't it? It's got on the sidewalk. The road is slippery from the ice that is still there from our snow that we had back in October, November. It's never melted, but so what we'll do is, what will we do? I think we'll go up the Crescent here, and maybe a little bit of Albert Street, Leopold Crescent. We'll see what we can see. I'll go back to those houses I went by the other night that are all dolled up, off to my right there. Hi, Annis. Merry Christmas. Ooh, long one. I don't know if I can read all that. Edmonton, right, that's it. Well, it's been very helpful to us to have a mild winter since my wife has her foot in a cast, so getting her around has been a lot easier without snow to deal with. I'm sure it will snow, but oh, here's Santa. Not coming down the chimney, but standing in the yard. A couple of penguins. Oh, 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 oh. Classic white lights. It's actually what we have in our house. It's just white lights this time. Last couple of years, that's what we've done. Merry Christmas in Vancouver, Kirk. You know, you normally join me when I walk in the mornings, which I haven't done for a while. And Benjamin, hello, Merry Christmas. Actually saw Santa Claus already. He was coming down the alley walking a dog. I suppose it's important to do that before you set out on your nightly deliveries. Make sure the dog's taken care of. This reminds me of walking on Halloween when I was looking at Halloween decorations, but probably more Christmas decorations than there are Halloween decorations. There's another blow-up Santa over there with the snowman from Frozen. This is a new house, but it's done very nicely in the style of older houses, so it fits the neighborhood really well, and really nicely done up there. Lit up. I like this house because of the turret, or the tower, depending on how you want to call that. Classic red and green. That's right. People like the nighttime walks because they're so different from daytime walks. I mean, it's barely nighttime. It's only a little after 5:30, but the sun's been down for quite a while now. Although the days are getting longer. We'll go around the corner, go over to Albert, and then come back along Leopold, I think. Not much along here. City sidewalks. We'd happened to watch The Lemon Drop Kid, which is actually the song that Silver Bells is from. Of course, it has that line about even streetlights blink a bright red and green, and there they are in front of us. It's actually a great Christmas movie, but it's very different than you might think. Bob Hope playing a kind of a sleazy con man character. But of course, it all comes out well in the end. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube in quite high resolution. So apparently what happened was the original recording with Bing Crosby and somebody else came out before the movie was released. And it was even though the movie had been shot, it was such a hit that those flaming torch lights look good for Halloween and Christmas. It was such a hit that they reshot the part where it appears in the movie to make it more of a production number. So coming this way, we'll see the grasshopper. That's the Royal Saskatchewan Museum over there, of course. No decorations, but brightly lit up. I don't see anything much down Albert, so we'll go take a look at the grasshopper. Then we'll stick to Leopold here. It's important to see the grasshopper. This is a Wilf Perot sculpture. And well, there doesn't seem to be much along here either, so maybe I will cross this way, but I can get much closer to the grasshopper than you usually can when there's more snow. Hello. Sorry, having a hard time reading your name. Annie? Not walking as far as Victoria Park. Here's the Wilf Perot grasshopper. As I started to say, in the summer he has plants growing inside him, so he's green. At this time of year, he's all lit up. They've got projections going on the side of their house. Now, I'd have to go too far. I don't want to go that far, but there's a house further down the street here that's all done up beautifully as a gingerbread house. But I don't want to walk that far. And I don't think I'll go over to the ledge either. It wasn't lit up the other night. I suspect that it comes on at 6. But there's lots of pictures of it, so you can find them if you want. This one's nice. Or is this the one that's gingerbread house? Maybe this is the gingerbread house. We had a fire engine go down by. And that's an ambulance, so somebody's not having a good evening, unfortunately. Here's the gingerbread house. That's pretty. nice houses. Not exactly too much Christmas light, but they do have some Christmas trees in front. So we come up here around the corner. There's a couple of really nice houses that I went by the other night. Well, maybe the lights are on the ledge over there. It's hard to tell from here, but it looks like they are. Still, I don't think I'll go over that far. We'll go to the right here and see this one that's just over here. And these along here are nice. They just have a bush lit up there. There's lots going on that corner too. Not too much down. There's one all done in white, I think, but I don't think I'll go down into Harrington Mews there. They've got changing lights. How's that? Is the audio back? The little green light is on. I wonder if it was when I ran into that tree back there. Yes, I tried to fix it. It should. It's everything showing with lights. Yes, audio's back. Okay. That's good. Technical difficulties. I ran into a tree branch back there, and that might have had something to do with that. Or not a tree branch, but a twig. I think possible that the microphone is battery's low, so it should be working now. I'll keep looking down at it. If it stays green, it should keep working. If it stops, I'll unplug it and just use the phone audio. This is uninteresting. Not a thing to be seen. Huh. Well, maybe down at the end there. Hold on. Hey, ooh, are you getting dizzy yet? There we go. Okay, so the microphone battery seems to have died. That's why it was cutting out. So now it's just the whatever sounds you're getting on the phone, but that should be all right. So, there we go. You should be able to hear me again, just not as well. Hi, Guy. Merry Christmas to you too. It's always something with the audio. It's like Always something going wrong. I mean, if you only use this audio, house over to my right just lit up at this very moment. They must be set for, is it 6 o'clock? Yeah, must be set for 6 o'clock. I mean, just doing the audio on the mic works, but it's not always great. Yeah, although it's always nice to have fresh snow when you're doing this. I mainly came down here because I saw this light was lit up. This house was lit up. I think what I'll do is go up on the dike and then come down on Cornwall Street. Where I know there's a big house that'll probably have something. And then we will go back up to Leopold Crescent. Take a look. Maybe, just want to make sure everything is still focused. Well, I can't control anything like that. The audio is out of sync. I can't help that. Look at the pretty pictures. Don't worry about the audio. We're not likely to say anything all that exciting anyway. Probably losing focus right now. It doesn't like it in the dark. Here we are up on the dike. You look that way, you can see the moon. There it is. So the creek is frozen down there. Still lots of snow up here on the dike, which you can't see, I guess, because of the contrast between that and the sky. It's adjusting for the sky and not paying much attention to what I can see. Fortunately, it's not as dark for me as it is on the screen. Oop. Surprise! There's the footbridge over there. Across the frozen creek. I'd be very surprised if there aren't quite a few lights on this big house down here. But it would appear not as many as I would have thought. They did more for Halloween than they did for Christmas. There's a few though. Okay, we'll start working our way home, where there's, you know, supper and sparkling wine waiting. We got some animation happening over here. So this big house up here was being built when I first started walking. Or not the first time I started walking, that would have been a long time ago. When I started live streaming my walks, which I didn't do when I first started walking at the age of, 12 months or whatever it was. Anyway, this house was built. There's another Santa. Oh, 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 oh. if I go over to Garnet, that'll take us straight up to the end of Leopold, and then that's a good place to start heading home. I used to live on the Garnet Street, so we can go by the house I lived in when I first moved to this neighborhood. About 1990 probably. I lived up in the northwest for at least a couple of years after I first moved to Regina, but then I rented a house down here, and this has been my neighborhood ever since. For a good 30 years, and some, probably. Again, lots of ice on the roads down here, but the sidewalks are clear for walking. It used to be one of the oldest houses around here was on that piece of land. It was torn down some time ago and this new one built. I used to know the family that lived in that house, but that was a long time ago too. Okay, here's my old street, Garnet Street. There's a mixture of these little older houses, like the one I used to live in, and bigger, newer houses. That's actually an older one there, I think. But there's some really modern ones along here too. Well, here's one on the right. Not decorated, unfortunately, but there it is. Thank you. Thanks for joining me for a bit. Merry Christmas. There's a little, is it Minions? And the Grinch. There's a Grinch, there's a Minion. Mixing your, oh, I think there are lights on my old house up here. That's the one I'm looking at. I think it is. We'll walk up the street. I think we'll get a lot of traffic along here. Yeah, so my little house is still here, but there was a little house on this side that has been replaced by a brand new one, and one next to it as well. So the one with the peaked roof is the house I lived in for a few years. I rented it. I think somebody owns it now. Well, somebody owned it then, the people I rented it from, but they sold it. So that's my old house. Built about 1914, I think. -6°C is not cold for me, no. Or us. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It could easily be -20 or even -30 tonight on Christmas Eve, so. Coldest, I walked around the lake at -34 a couple of years ago in the morning, first thing in the morning. As long as you keep moving and are dressed for it, it was okay. Well, I want to go up this way to get Leopold Crescent, so I'm going to stick to Garnet here. There's a little bit over there. No, this is beautiful. I'm wearing my lightest coat. I'm wearing gloves and a hat, but not wearing my heaviest coat by any means. What kind of shoes? I'm just wearing New Balance running shoes. Nothing special. If it was bitterly cold, I'd have on warmer boots, heavier socks. Not in this weather. Or if there was more snow. The runners aren't good for snow because they don't keep anything out, so your feet get wet, which will certainly make you cold in a hurry. Yeah, it's not slippery because the sidewalks have melted off. Although actually my runners have as much grip as my winter boots do, I think. Sometimes people wear actually cleats on their shoes that give them more grip on ice if it's really slippery. Oh, we're going to get over to the Leopold Crescent in a minute. I don't know how far we'll go up here. I might just turn the corner. It doesn't look like there's much on up the Crescent. So I think I'll just go back along the Crescent and that'll take me home. Lots more lights, but can't see everything. I also want to go along Canard. I think it's got quite a few lights on it. So. We'll go this way now. There's definitely some lights down this way. It's slippery right here as I cross the road. Merry Christmas, Moira. Not a lot. If you look in the right direction, there's some, but if you're on the sunny side of the street, there's very little. Ice, because we got lots of snow back in October, November, but we've had a long, just kind of hovering around freezing. We haven't been setting temperature records, but it's just been a very long dry spell. I mean, we could have plenty of snow even at these temperatures. We just haven't gotten it. It just hasn't been any snow. Temperatures are cold enough. It's, you know, it might be plus 2 or 3 some days, but mostly under that. And if it snowed overnight, you wouldn't lose much during the day. There hasn't been a speck of snow in days, weeks, which will be worrisome if it keeps up all winter because you need that snowpack for farmers come spring. Oops. But this doesn't tell you anything about what January, February, March, and April are going to be. Why no license plate? You're not required to have one on the front. You always have one on the back. They used to require them front and back, but that went away a few years ago. Nice little deer there. No, they all got them just on the back, not on the front. It just happens the way I'm walking. You're not seeing them. Everybody's got to have a license plate. You know, there's a nice stretch of lights along here. Sometimes if they have a spot at the front for a license plate, depending on the car and the era it was made, they'll put something like a Saskatchewan Rough Rider license plate or a Calgary Flames license plate or, you know, your favorite team or something like that. Now let's see. Whoa. The one place you often find it slippery is when you get to a alley. Oh! That branch snagged my hat. That's funny. Straight out of a cartoon. Well, generally speaking, snow is the way to figure here. This is an El Nino year, and we get really warm weather for us. And again, if it had happened to snow, it's certainly not so warm that we wouldn't have snow. As you can see, the ice has been here for weeks without going away. It just hasn't snowed. Nice stretch of lights over here too. I do want to just pop up and take a look at Connaught Crescent before I call it a quits. Call it a quits, call it a night, call it quits, call it Christmas Eve. Nice house. I happen to have been in that one. Been in a few of these. I was in that one over there. Oh, they've got lights on there, but then they've also got lights, I don't know if you can see them, lighting up the side of the house. Maybe from here they'll show up better. Yeah, you can sort of see them all over the house, little green stars. I sort of saved this next corner that we'll be going to because there's a really big decoration extravaganza around the corner. Well, there was other stuff up the Crescent, but can't do everything. So when we come up here on the corner, you'll probably see the best that we'll see this evening. Open presents, go to a Christmas dinner at a friend's, usual sort of thing. Not church, although I sang in a Christmas concert at First Baptist back on December 10th, so I did have that experience as well. Many years ago I sang at the cathedral's Christmas Eve service and then drove to Weyburn the next day to be with my parents who were still alive and living in Weyburn at the time. It's about an hour drive. I used to do that a lot at Christmas. Drive down on the day before Christmas. Actually, plenty of years I went down there wasn't much snow. It's always kind of iffy. In town, you'll sometimes have a white Christmas when it's a brown out in the countryside because the sun will melt off the fields. This is the house I was going to particularly highlight. I'm going to go up Angus and then no, it's too cold for that. The farmer's market, which is our outdoor market, moves indoors this time of year. We've got lots of people here looking at lights. A couple of cars went by there. I'm actually going to cross if I can now. I've been in this house. It's a very nice house, and they always do this kind of a big display on their yard. Oh, very nice. Okay, not much further. We'll go up to the top of the Crescent, come down Connaught, which is the half Crescent over to my right, and that'll be it. My wife is probably thinking I've been out here long enough. It's time to come home and start Christmas Eve activities like eating. Yeah, that is a nice, they do a nice job there. They always do these trees like this at Christmas too, which is kind of cool. This house. Pretty sure that car's looking at Christmas lights, the way it's driving. Well, the car's not, but the drivers are looking at Christmas sign. Driver and passengers. I haven't put my hat back on after the tree stole it. I don't see much up this way. I think I'll go over to Connaught. Might be a little slippery in here, but I'll be careful. Go down the alley. Suddenly it's dark. It's not as dark to my eyes as it is to the camera. Merry Christmas, Ken. Thank you for walking with me. Almost done. It really isn't as dark as it looks. It's quite a bit of moonlight. I mean, it's a full moon or very close to it. Up there. So there's actually quite a bit of light to my eyes, even here in the alley. Well, I was going for half an hour and I've done 40 minutes, so this is slippery. Ooh, here to my left, it's a Grinch. Yeah, I don't think there's too much up there, so this was actually, we'll go around just to take a look at this one. Next one over here. We've actually got a tree growing very close to the house there, right where the peak is. If they decorated that tree, that'd really be cool. Okay, we will go back this way, which will take me home. Nice white star. Star of wonder, star of light. I'm going, but not too much further. The only thing I missed that I kind of thought I would do is walk over to the ledge, but oh well. This is the Davin School playground here, Davin School there. So come back this way again and stop at the same corner we just went by with the great light display, and that will be the end. This house here, which doesn't have much on it now, is always a big Halloween haunted house at Halloween. And the people here also do a lot for Halloween, but they really do a lot for Christmas. So we'll stop there. Thank you for walking with me. Sorry the audio quit a couple of times. And I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas tomorrow. And a very, very Happy New Year. I will be back, not tomorrow, probably not Boxing Day, but sometime in the next week, I shall return. Favorite Christmas dinner? Well, I always liked turkey. Although in my family, we often had something called enchilada casserole because we lived in Texas at one point. We moved up here from Texas and my mom got the recipe. It's kind of a Mexican lasagna. We're going to have turkey tonight when I get in. So thanks for walking with me. Bye for now.